Good morning, you fine folks. Welcome back to the channel. You know who I am by now, Wayne, the founder of One Sober to Another. Today's video is so simplistic. It's all about you. It's about you judging other people. Do you find yourself saying, there's got to be something wrong with that person? Do you find yourself thinking, you just aren't good enough because you're not quite like them? Well, then this video is for you. You ready to go? Let's get it. Just this morning, I got a message that said, 200% certain he has vodka in that Starbucks cup. That's people judging other people. For me, I wasn't offended by it. I actually kind of laughed a little bit because, you know what? 7 years ago, that might have been true. But today, living sober the way I am, and don't run yet because it all applies. Living sober the way that I do and maintaining what I already have is success in and of itself. I don't have to be validated by other people. My only obligation is to share my experience, strength, and hope with you. And talking about judgment, for that person to put that out there, I'm not mad at all because it made me reflect on 7 years ago. It's easy to criticize somebody else, and it's easy to look for the negative aspect of things versus trying to find something positive about what you're looking at. Because people want to, let me rephrase that because I was about to go general and judgmental. Most folks are validated by other people's responses to them. And if they are not validated, there's an automatic cast of judgment to the other person. For instance, for the 200%, which, by the way, no offense to you, but you can't have 200% of something. Otherwise, you stole 100% from somewhere else. Think about that one. And more importantly, into this ramble on this fine Saturday morning, my friends from Limp Bizkit say, it's all about the he said, she said. And if you knew the rest of that, that's fantastico because we speak the same language. But being judgmental is super easy. And I've talked about it before. We are prone to judge other folks, and we are prone to have prejudgments, which is prejudice, right? I don't know. Weird. So this has been a cultivated faction since the dawn of time, because when we were forming our groups of socialism, and I'm about to run off on a tangent, so I don't want to go too far. We held people to a certain standard, and if they didn't meet that standard, or if they didn't have the same beliefs as I do or you do, we automatically push them to the side and make life just a little bit harder for them so that they just go away. And that's exactly what I did in my alcoholism. If you didn't want to be where I was and you didn't want to do what I was doing, me and the folks that I recruited to drink like I do, we just find a way to get you to go on about your business so that you don't ruin our buzz. Makes sense like two nickels? Rub those together and sprinkle them around. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. Why is my lighting green, do you ask? Well, because that is the color of envy, right? That's the color of jealousy. And a lot of folks find themselves, especially me, wrapped around the axle of trying to compare myself to what someone else is doing. And guess what, folks? You can only be as good as you want to be. You don't have to worry about what's outside of your donut. Just control what's on the inside. And you will refrain from casting judgment on somebody else because you cannot forget where you came from, just like that YouTube short that I put out the other day. It's real easy to judge that person going to the liquor store at 5 in the morning. Okay, well, probably not 5 in the morning, but maybe 10, 10:30, depending on what time they open. You can't judge the person who is drinking like you used to drink. You can't even judge your own spouse or your own partner for their drinking. But it's real easy to get wrapped around the axle and find yourself doing exactly that because that's what you did. And that applies to relationships and everything else all around. If you've ever been in a relationship where somebody was maybe cheating on the other person, you became the defensive person and you cast that judgment and you made that person feel bad about themselves. Perhaps your own narcissism and your own dodgy was indicating that perhaps you were the one doing the dirty deed. So don't be too quick to cast judgment. Be patient and tolerant with other folks. And I'm going to adjust this real quick because my brain's getting all twiggity-twack. With that being said, somebody told me in the comments one time that they have to get a translator for me. Hey, look, my thoughts are kind of rampant and my thoughts are sporadic. And it kind of springs from the entire events of my life. So I might not be entirely comprehensible at times, but I tell you what, my points are there. My points are solid. And sometimes I could use your comments to help me guide it along a little bit. There I go, rambling again. The important thing here is don't be judgmental of anybody, really. I know it's hard not to. I know it's hard. The trick to that is, and what I've learned over 7 years of sobriety is being patient with other people, being tolerant of other people, regardless if you like them or not, regardless if they have wronged you or not. Now, I know that sounds far-fetched, and I know that sounds really hard to take on. But if you think about it real small, meaning give it a glimpse, give it a little run around in your head, it pays dividends to be patient with people. It pays dividends to practice a little tolerance. I'll give you one small example. Recently, I picked up a position as a program manager. Now, I'm not going to tell you where. Some of you might know, but I'm not going to tell you where. And I also received a new manager in the place where I'm at right now. Now, I was the temporary manager. And I say this because it applies to being judgmental. I immediately had a predisposition. That's not even the right word. I was automatically judgmental about this person before they got here, only because I heard a little bit about them. So it was real easy for me to formulate what I thought about them before I even met them. And a lot of us do that. And especially in recovery, we do that as well. Because if we know that somebody comes to work smelling like alcohol or somebody parties hard every single weekend, it's real easy to get trapped around the thoughts of what we did in our insanity, in our active alcoholism or addiction, and put that on somebody else. So I did the same thing here in this particular situation. And then I met the person. And, I don't immediately agree with the things that they're doing. And I'm not fully on board with the changes that they're making. But I have to be patient and I have to be tolerant of it because, I don't really have a choice for two reasons. A, I get paid to do a daggone job, so I got to do it regardless. And if I don't, I might as well be stepping and looking for a new job. But then next, they may have a particular knowledge that I don't have yet that I can take on with me to my next position as a program manager. Now, is that a bit of an MO? Yeah, a little bit. But it's helpful because not only am I able to treat them with the courtesy and respect they deserve, so I'm able to be patient and tolerant and treat them with the respect they deserve and be able to carry that professionalism on to the next position. Now, with that being said, applying that to your recovery is easy because if you come across people and you practice a little patience and tolerance, even if you don't like them or agree with them, it's going to lessen the expectations that you set for or to that person. It's going to lessen resentments that you harbor because of actions that you might not agree with. And it's going to keep you on an even keel and not affect your serenity to the point where you might relapse. And that's the most important part about this. Us in recovery, me in recovery, I have to refrain from practicing judgment on other folks because guess what? Nobody on this damn planet is perfect and nobody is, omniscient or omnipotent or omniscient to any other person. So, you know what? Don't even sweat it, man. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't judge other people of what you expect of them, because, 12 times out of 12, people are going to let you down. And you have to be okay with yourself in order for that not to affect you. Daggone it, I hope you got a little bit out of this ramble. Life is a garden, folks. I'm so happy to all of you who have subscribed. And if you got any value out of this video today, consider subscribing and consider dropping in the comments what you think about it and what you think would make this channel a little bit better and what you want to see on it. Again, life is a garden, folks. Dig it. Have a good day.